Coming up on Kochie's Business Builders, we get the expert word on successfully pitching for big business. Catch up with the girls building glasshouse fragrances, and another question answered in Ask Kochie. Hello and welcome back to KBB. Now, landing a big contract is often what gives a business the freedom to expand and pursue new opportunities. But getting those contracts across the line is hard work. Today we take a look at how to win that big pitch. Also coming up is a great interview with founder of Glasshouse Fragrances, who really nailed their local marketing approach early on. But first up, it's news you can use.
A recent survey of Aussie business owners shows that almost half don't like their business card. Despite this disconnect, 88% of us still swap them when we meet new contacts. Giving a good first impression is vital. So what are the essentials for a card which helps that impression? Your card needs to show your branding in a clear, concise layout. The size should be standard so that it fits easily into wallets and card holders, but don't be afraid to stand out from the crowd, something unique that reflects yours and your business's personality. By spending the time and extra bucks on a quality card, you'll be more likely to make that first impression you're after.
Outside Ideas is a South Australian contracting company established in 2003. They've built up a really solid operation, but now want to land some big work in new territory. To help them get their pitch across the line, sales expert Kieran McGuigan dropped by to share his approach.
So Aaron, tell me about your business and how you got started.
Outside Ideas is a commercial landscaping company. I started it when I was 19 in 2003. We started off just doing people's backyards, and in 2006 we won our first commercial project, which was a McDonald's store. Realised that's where we wanted to go. Things have developed since then. We've got 70 staff in South Australia and 12 in Victoria. That's an area that we're really trying to grow at the moment.
Have you spent much time thinking about what it is that you've done and the processes in terms of your business in South Australia that have made it successful that you can use to replicate?
As simple as get on site, do a really good job of it, build up a relationship with that builder, people would see us around, and things grew from there. We're doing that in Victoria at the moment, but it's just a lot slower. We don't have as many contacts with builders.
Can you tell me about your sales strategy?
We don't have a strict sales strategy. In South Australia now, it's the builders that are contacting us well before we hear about the project, so we don't chase work as much in South Australia. We're asked to tender projects. In Victoria, we're still begging builders to let us price up work for them.
One of the toughest things if you put it into a sales context is, if there isn't a job, how do I start a conversation with John Smith at Company X? Well, one of the easiest ways to do that is to add value. Rather than selling something, if you can make contact and give them something in terms of advice or strategy or some sort of technique which can help them in their landscaping project without any sort of expectation in return on your part, then the law of reciprocity kicks in and you've built a bridge to contact them when a job does come up. And that can add a lot of confidence in terms of your next communication strategy. Sales isn't an ugly word. If you think about professional selling, is really about how do I help my customers make a better buying decision. It's a lot easier to start the conversation in that you're not contacting them to sell them something. I'm contacting you to help you end up with a better project.
After the break, Kieran's tips for nailing that pitch. This business tip brought to you by NAB, helping Australian business see more, not less. Tracy, one of the big issues I constantly hear from small business is the amount of time they spend on admin and cash flow.
You're right, Kochie, particularly when they're out and about all day working with their customers. The last thing they want to do at the end of the day is issue invoices, chase payments and deposit cash and cheques.
So tell me, is there an easier way to get paid?
There sure is. It's called NAB Now. It's our brand new mobile point of sale app that enables small business customers to process card payments via their smartphone, anywhere, anytime.
Wow, that's great technology. How does it work?
So this card reader connects via Bluetooth to the NAB Now app on your smartphone. You simply key in the sale amount and process the payment on the spot.
Gee, that is high tech. What are the other features?
Well, there's no lock-in contract or exit fees, and plus with NAB's highest levels of anti-fraud security, our customers and theirs can feel as safe as you would using a traditional NAB EFTPOS terminal. What
a great combination. Get paid easier, less admin. Terrific. Thanks, Tracy.
Thanks, Kochie.
For more tips and stories, visit nab.com.au/moreforbusiness. As contracting company Outside Ideas expand their national footprint, nailing pitches for new business is going to be essential. Let's hear Kieran McGuigan's tips for Aaron Superina and his team.
Have you sat down and thought about what you need to do? Have you put a plan together for Victoria?
Not a formal plan. We're just trying to replicate what we've done in South Australia.
You need to really define who is responsible for sales and business development and make them understand that speaking to prospective customers or having conversations is part of our plan. And those are things that we can measure on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis.
We've worked out who we want to target, and it's just for us, it's a matter of getting through to them by not being the cheapest quote, but being given the opportunity to work for them.
Look, I'm delighted you said that, because everybody out there can go out and win business simply by buying it or being the cheapest person in the room. We need to do the relationship building. We need to establish those contacts long before it gets to a quote or an RFP type stage. So you need to have a CRM, a customer relationship management piece of software, if you haven't already, sitting in your system that has the company, their names, their details. Every time you interact with them, someone adds a little note about that conversation. And then you can build a contact management strategy, what we call key account targeting. So you're targeting the right person with the right message in the right way, so that you've created a foundation for success when the job does come up.
Thank you very much.
So, Kieran's tips there. Define who's responsible for sales and business development and measure their work. So important. Put customer relationship management software in place and build a contact management strategy. Concise, actionable advice as always from Kieran there. Now don't forget, if you'd like to watch this or any other segment again, you're all online, kbbtv.com.au. Up next, we go behind the scenes at Glasshouse Fragrances.
This segment is brought to you by Canon Maxify.
My name's Trudy Rice and this is my business, Time Flies Travel. We're a full-service travel agency. We provide flights for people who just need flights from A to B. We provide complex itineraries for those who are having an extensive holiday through Europe or any part of the world. We do rail, we do accommodation, we do tours. So any aspect of travel, we can handle it. We made a business decision a couple of years ago to specialise, and we specialise in singles travel, which seems to be a huge market these days, because there's a lot of people who are either married and their partner doesn't want to travel, or they're single and they've got no one to travel with. So we look after that demographic, and we also do a lot with disability travel, which for us is a very rewarding part of our business, being able to have clients with disabilities enjoy holidays that ordinarily after their injury may not have thought that they could ever do. A lot of people think that there's a question mark over the future of travel agencies, but that's not been our experience at all. We've grown at a great pace over the last 5 years. Everyone wants to travel these days, and everyone is doing more and more complex itineraries, so they need the help of a travel agent. So we're now starting to work with big holidays to Europe, Africa, South America. So the work that we're doing is a lot more complex. A lot of industries are trying to move to a paperless office, but for us, it's just not realistic. We still do a lot of face-to-face consulting, and there is a lot of information that we need to pass on to the client while they're here, so we have our printer going at a rapid pace to print out all the information we need to pass on to our clients. So we do need a good printer. The new Canon printer is fantastic. The older one was black and white. It did chew through the ink. So this one seems to be a lot more efficient with the ink and printing both sides. We've never been able to do that before. And it's wireless. People spend a lot of money in our business, and our professionalism and how we look to our clients and how we present ourselves gives our clients a lot of confidence in booking, you know, $50,000, $60,000 holidays with us. We don't want them to think that we're anything other than professional. The main thing is that it's colour and it's way more efficient, like it's speedy printing. It's way more efficient on the ink. So all of our tickets, our itineraries are all beautiful colour. Just makes us look a whole lot more professional. So for us, in a small business, that's a huge impact.
Visit the Canon Australia website to discover more information about Canon Maxify.
Glasshouse Fragrances was started by Nicole Eccles in 2006 and has grown into quite an impressive operation. Despite many imitators, Glasshouse continues to dominate their niche, and all their collections are still made right here in Australia. KBB's Alex Brophy caught up with Nicole and Managing Director Kate Stevenson to see how they built up their rock-solid brand.
And Nicole, you've established a terrific distribution chain, shops all over Australia stocking your products now. How did that first get started?
I was new to Australia, so I read a lot of magazines to look at which shops were sort of opinion leading and were well respected. And then I would ring them and say, are you interested in seeing this amazing new product? There's nothing like it. And they'd say yes, and we'd just send a box of product over. So it sort of just blossomed that way. It was very organic.
And Kate, on the manufacturing side of things, how do you maintain those really exacting quality standards?
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. So quality control is paramount. We're building a brand, we're building equity in the business. It involves every single person in the team keeping their eye on every element of quality control every single day. We live it, we breathe it, we check it, we pick it up, we check it again, we check it again. Nothing goes out the door unless it's perfect. That can be costly, but it pays off.
The business is growing quite quickly now. How have you sort of managed that growth?
The business is now more complex than it ever was, but we're trying to retain this sense of being small and being nimble and being entrepreneurial in an environment that has to be increasingly more corporate because of the customers that we're working with and our business partners. Fast growth is difficult. We have to prioritise everything we do. The other thing that we've really tried to do is try to focus on process and establishing process, because otherwise it's very easy to run in a lot of different directions and actually I guess under-deliver in many ways from where we want to be.
Mm.
Is international expansion on the cards?
Absolutely. We already have a distributor in Korea. We're talking to several others. It's just a matter of time when we could actually service them. And it wasn't just supplying product. We could have done that years ago. It was mapping out the market to make sure when you do go into a new market, you're doing it in the way that will propel that brand and to get that market share.
We've quite deliberately really wanted to focus on our core business partners in Australia, really focus on the brand, build the brand, and make sure that we were ready for export at the right time.
So Nicole, your first business has been an absolute smash hit. What's your advice for other small businesses?
Looking after your team, the leadership, the people, that is the most important thing. Making sure you differentiate what you're doing from others, whether it's through your service, whether it's through your product. Find a way to stand out. Do not compromise on the quality of whatever it is you're doing, because the reason that you're able to gain that market share is because you're doing something people love, and you have to stay true to that.
Anything to add there, Kate?
I think from very early on you need great, solid financial advice. Fast-growing businesses chew up a lot of cash. The future is always uncertain in a small business, and it's about having a plan to try and make the future a little bit more certain and laying the foundations and bringing the right people on to help you get there.
It's a terrific business, guys. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
They certainly nailed that local marketing approach early on, reading magazines to find opinion-leading shops and sending boxes of product over to test out. Of course, never taking no for an answer has helped as well. As the business has grown, they've looked after their team, continued to differentiate and not compromised on quality. It's a really solid lead for all of us to take. Coming up, a tech tip from Val Quinn and another question answered in Ask Kochie. This segment brought to you by NAB, helping Australian business see more, not less.
Hi, my name is Nicole Newman. Welcome to my business, The Food Purveyor in Geelong. So The Food Purveyor is a company that sells hampers, but those hampers are unique in the fact that they only have Australian-made produce in them. And we sell it online in gift hampers in storefront and to corporates and also nationally through Target around Australia. Initially I took a redundancy package and wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I always wanted to stay in the food industry and that's always been my passion. And decided there was a bit of a gap in the market with people selling Australian produce. So we started off with 8 suppliers and they were just really people that we knew had great products that were selling them in the region. We now have just over 35 suppliers and we source them by going to farmers markets or food providors and seeing what's happening there, just travelling around and trying different things, going on the food trail maps. We love the fact that we're able to drive an economy out of small food producers that were always looked at as just a mum and dad business. So it's exciting, it's really exciting. We have grown fast. We've just been through our second Christmas with Target and the first Christmas that we did with them, we did just on 1,000 hampers and the second one we've done 11,500 hampers with them. Even scaling up to do that first 1,000 hampers was enormous and we did that all in our front 2 lounge rooms at home and then realised pretty quickly that we couldn't do that again. So we've been in our new facility since June of 2014. The way we got into Target was through networking and building relationships within our local community. We just worked with them developing hampers that were specific for them, and it's a valuable process because the processes you work with them you put in place for the rest of the business. If you've got an idea about starting a small business, do it, because not only are you building your own business, but the people you work with, you're building and investing in their businesses as well. We wouldn't have been able to grow without NAB's support, and because it's had to be so fast and so quick. So my business banker is Michael, and he's part of the family. If we didn't have that support and be able to just pick up the phone with my crazy ideas and say to Michael, oh, I've got this idea, what do you think? And there's just normally just silence and he goes, okay, I'll work out how we're going to make that happen. As we started to grow and the volume started to grow, it became apparent that we needed support. So NAB now for us has been a total breakthrough because it means that we can be off-site and take orders, and it's such a simple tool to use rather than using an FPOS machine and being tied to that. It's something that we just use the app that's on the phone, plug the customer's credit card straight into the NAB Now facility, and it's literally a 30-second process. It's all done straight away. So they're happy and I'm certainly happy because the money goes straight in.
For more tips and stories, visit nab.com.au/moreforbusiness.
This tech tip brought to you by Canon.
Choosing a printer for your small business or home office can be difficult. There's a lot to choose from and it can often be overwhelming. Canon's Maxify range has got the bases covered, and it starts from a very reasonable price of $199. Now, I've been testing the MB5360, which is $349 and top of the range. And there are 2 things that I just love about these printers. One is speed and the other is efficiency. When it comes to speed, your first page appears in 7 seconds, which is very quick, and the printer can handle 23 pages per minute, which is very impressive. And when it comes to efficiency, you can print up to 2,500 pages from its XL print tank, which is on par with many laser printers. But my favorite feature of the MB5360 by far is its dual-sided scanning. This means that you can scan 2 pages at once, which is ideal for saving time when you have a lot of documents to scan. So look no further for a speed and efficiency-focused printer for your small business. And in the time it took to do this 1-minute tip, we managed to print 25 pages.
We're giving away 10 Canon Maxify printers. To find out how you can win, head to kbbtv.com.au.
Let's get into Ask Kochie for this week, and today's question is from Glenn via Facebook. He writes, I've just finished my Sparky ticket and want to set up a business with a mate. Where do we start? Well, Glenn, the majority of new businesses fold in the first few years, and a lot of that comes down to poor planning, so you are on the right track to think about it from the start. Your first port of call should be the local Business Enterprise Centre. They've recently launched an Apprentice to Business Owner program, which covers things like attracting customers, meeting tax and insurance commitments, and how to quote and price work. Now, this course is free and also includes business mentoring, which is terrific when you're getting started. Now, you need to be trade qualified with a new or recently established business. But if that's not your area, there's a great network of advisory services and new business courses run by the BECs as well. So get in touch and see what's available. Also, pop by KBB Coaching, where we have a range of experts on hand to help out whenever you like and from wherever you like. kbbcoaching.com.au is the place to do it. We'll catch you next week. Next week on KBB, everything you need to know about digital marketing. An inside look at what goes into a successful bar, and another question answered in Ask Kochie. Until then, we'll catch you at kochiesbusinessbuilders.com.au.